Salutations, viewers. My name is Game Dame, and welcome back to Nolan Game Dame Reacts, where we have a breakdown for Baldur's Gate 3 for every playable race. Now, I need to get on the train for Baldur's Gate 3 because my boyfriend, I'm never going to see him, so I got to make it at least an attempt for when it comes out to know exactly what the fuck he's talking about. Because this is a game I do want to play. However, I do know it is going to be very fucking in-depth. So let's go ahead and watch every playable race in the Baldur's Gate 3 dev breakdown.
Yeah, they hate Mind Flayers more than anybody else. Nobody particularly likes Mind Flayers. Well, some of us do. But seems like them a little bit too much.
No judging.
Okay, break it. Yeah, show us.
I'm Sven Wenke. I'm the game director on Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm Adam Smith, lead writer of Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios.
I'm Nick Pechenin. I'm lead systems designer at Larian.
Got the elf classic.
On the story side for elves, we had a lot of discussions about how they fit into the world. They're one of the more common races.
They are definitely more common.
Reactivity is often about how long-lived they are. They're a very long-lived race, so we don't assume how old your character is, but they often reflect on things with a lot more far-sightedness.
Elves are actually the most picked race in the early access of
Really?
Baldur's Gate 3, followed closely by half-elves and by tieflings.
So elves,
For
half-elves,
release,
and
we're updating the
tieflings.
human a little bit. We're giving them a few features so that they feel as interesting as other races to play.
And for
We'll
the
see.
Human, in terms of narrative, the actual opposite to the elf. So humans in Faerun are relatively short-lived. They live as long as we do, which isn't very long, sadly. So they experience change and turmoil much more often. Where 100 years after BG2, the humans don't remember it. It's a previous generation for them.
Yeah,
For a lot
it
of
is
the
a
other
previous
races, it's within
generation.
their personal memory.
Got the half-oos,
Hard to say
half-elf.
something about them because they're just very, very popular. They're a bit of elf and a bit of human. So I feel like players find it really easy to connect to a half-elf. It's a bit of fantasy, but it's also relatable enough that you see yourself being a bit of a half-elf.
I can
Probably
see
even
that.
more popular than the elf.
And one of our origins is a half-elf Shadowheart. The bit I always remember is, I think it's Lizelle at some point refers to her as an elf, and Shadowheart is like, half-elf. Very upset about it.
Half-elf. Tieflings. All right, give me the
Tiefling
tieflings.
is my favorite race in BG3, actually. I love their pointy horns.
They're so sick
and they're just-
looking.
overall, I don't know, I just like tieflings.
Very important class because there's a lot of tiefling-specific characters in the game.
They're very central to our story. You meet a lot of them in Act 1. And partly that's because we are sequentially after the events Descent to Avernus. So a lot of tieflings are fleeing. They're some of the first refugees because of events that have already happened in the world.
No, that
so
makes
you meet a lot of
sense.
them. They're
For
outsiders, outcasts often. We have an origin character tiefling as well, Karlach.
I love her.
they're
She
great.
looks so sick.
My
Githyanki?
favorite, most likely, because they're the aliens on this world.
The alien
Yeah,
monster
they
race
look so
of
weird,
Githyanki.
yeah.
In D&D, there's
Githyanki.
actually two races, but we're representing Githyanki ones. Lizelle, the origin character, is a Githyanki. They're martial-like, and some of them have access to astral plane. This is where they hunt mind flayers. Mind flayers are kind of the mortal enemies, I think, of Githyanki,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay,
they
that
hate
makes
Mind Flayers
sense.
more than anybody else. Nobody particularly likes Mind Flayers. Well,
I
some
don't
of
know.
us do.
I hate how the mouse
It's
is
like, no,
literally
too
in the
much.
middle
No judging.
of this.
The cool thing about Halfling is that if you're a Halfling barbarian and you have other friends who are Halfling barbarians, you can throw each other like this ball of rage.
That is actually
because you
so
have enough
funny.
strength. And so you can play this cannonball build that I really recommend.
Sounds so
I always think
hilarious.
of Lord of the Rings.
One of my
As you
favorite
should,
parts of
as
the
you
game is a
should.
halfling. I'm not going to say who it is. It's an NPC, and we have this image of halflings that comes from D&D. It also comes from hobbits. It's hard to avoid them. That they are the cozy people. They stay at home by hearth and fire and want a peaceful life. This one does not.
This one does not. A
My
drow.
Drow.
Drow? Drow.
Yeah, I mean they're my favorites. And again, it's the outsiderness of Drow I find really interesting. We don't have only evil Drow. We represent different kinds of Drow. But my favorite are the Lost one. I like playing evil
They're like
characters.
orcs,
One of my
but
favorite
pretty.
things in the game, which people will have seen in early access, we've improved it a little, is the reactivity to Drow. You walk around and sometimes people avoid eye contact with you. They're afraid of you, and it's really cool.
I love the reactivity.
It's really
we have to
cool
Drow in the game.
that
In
they're
fact, there's
just
so much reactivity
loners.
to drows in the game that we decided to split them off into being represented as a separate race in character creation. A lot of people pointed out that drows should be technically a kind of elf. They are elves, but for us there was just so much gameplay behind being a drow that we really wanted to highlight it.
And don't tell
I
me about
appreciate that. I think that's. I mean, yeah, I get it. They are like
got
a
beards.
elf, but still
that. Beards on everybody.
Bushy beards.
Yeah.
dwarves.
I mean,
Dwarf.
Dwarves are my favorite. So I love randomizing characters because the character creator just throws up really cool things. Pretty much every time it throws up a dwarf at me, I'm just like, wow, what the heck are you? Because they're so broad. And they're
So
kinda square, like,
broad.
you know, dwarf barbarians just rock.
Yeah, they're also very tough in gameplay. They're a really good pick if you want to go for like a really tanky build.
yeah.
Heavier than they should be. Because when you try to throw them around and you're not that strong, it doesn't work.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Gnome, we got our gnome
Very
babies.
throwable.
Gnomes are really
Very
inventors
throwable.
of D&D world, and one of the good
Very
things is
throwable,
that
he says.
if you
I love
pick a certain gnomish subrace, you actually start with a little music box that it's implied that your character created, kind of tinkered into, and if you click on that music box, you will hear the theme of Baldur's Gate 3.
And there are another
That's
one
so
that's very central to
cute.
our plot. We have a couple of gnome factions. And yeah, I mean, it goes into the inventor nature of them. It also goes into the history of the Sword Coast. So they're very central to our story.
The half orcs.
Finally, it's a big community favorite, the half-orcs. The half-orcs really, incentivize us to include these strong body types for all of the races.
Always
I think
strong.
if we wouldn't have half-orcs, we might not have shipped it, but now, thanks to half-orcs, everybody can be buff. As buff as you want.
Everyone can
Much
be
cooler than I
buff.
expected them to be. I think the art team did a really good job on them.
Yeah, they
We
did do a
had
pretty
half-orcs
cool.
as NPCs a long time before we
job
had them
on
as
it.
playable characters in the builds that we're developing on. And you know, you run into them and you see them and you go, when can I be a half-orc? And now we can.
That's sick. Dragonborn, baby.
Dragonborn,
Aren't they like lizard
have
people?
a lineage that goes up to dragons. At
Yep.
least they say so. And you can pick what color of a dragon your ancestors were. This changes what element you can resist in the game and
That's
what kind of
so
dragon buff
sick.
you have, as well as some higher level stuff as well.
There's quite a bit of reactivity to Dragonborn. Faerun's a strange place, full of strange people, so nobody's aghast to see one. But people do find you unusual. You know,
Oh yeah, for
the
sure,
most
because
common
you're
race.
literally a fucking walkable,
The thing
like
about
a
them is you just
lizard
have to
with
look at
fucking
them.
2
They're
legs.
the most gorgeous race I've ever seen in a video game. Like, they're incredible.
They look
Definitely what
sick.
I'm
I would
gonna
like the
play. I mean, like
Dragonborn.
they're the most badass characters that we have. They're just really cool. And a sorcerer Dragonborn with dragon blood has like this special sheen of his ancestors inside of him. It's fantastic.
That sounds something that I want to play. Yeah, I really like the Dragonborn race. I also really like the half orc is definitely intriguing. Drow is also intriguing. They're just like night elves or something like that. Githyanki, they're kind of interesting too, but I think I'm definitely gonna probably do Tiefling, Drow, or Dragonborn. I just really like the kind of more weird kind of weird races. It's boring for me to consistently be an elf or a human or a half elf because it's been in a couple other games. I really like the other types of races that they have. What was it in Divinity Original Sin? I picked the lizard people. I can't remember what their name is. But that showed a lot of like trials and tribulations in itself. But hey, let me know in the comments down below what race you guys are going to start off with. Those are the 3 I want to do. But I think what I might start out with might be Drow or Tiefling. I'm not exactly sure. I'm between the 2. But let me know in the comments down below. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I highly appreciate your time as always. But please do not forget to subscribe and or follow not only to my YouTube, but to my Twitch. You guys know where my YouTube is at. You can find my Twitch at twitch.tv/thegamedame. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.